You're watching or listening to Two Brains. This brain is Marlon.
This brain is Liv.
And today we're going to talk about the hip-hop industry and how it has changed.
It's changed.
It has changed. It's going through changes.
What is that?
You don't know what that song is?
No, I remember Eminem sampling it.
Well, there you go. Okay, so.
Well, I mean, you got two different changes to look at. You've got
only two.
I mean, no, like two main ones. So obviously you have like such a big portion, even like more so now, is marketing.
Yeah.
So you've got a massive So I'd be interested to know, like, what do you think came first? The way artists were marketed in order to catch up with changing technology, or do you think the artist changed first and then the marketing had to adapt to the artist changing? It's basically like the chicken and the egg.
No, it's not.
It is. Like, which
the
one
artist?
came first?
No, it's nothing to do with the artist.
So you think the marketing, the change in marketing influenced the change in artists?
Yes, because the marketing was due to changes in the world, in society, and technology.
So you would think, but if you think about it this way, like in like the history of music, like if you're thinking like before the internet, those like rapid changes in the sound of any given genre were still there. So I think we would have had that change in artist. Mm-hmm. Maybe the way they became famous might have changed. Mm. But I think we would have got that change eventually. Maybe just not as quickly.
Okay, so what change are you talking about?
I'm talking about like
very vague right now.
Okay, so like with hip hop's like finally getting to a point where it's like, you know, it's a relatively young genre, but it's gotten to the point where there are older people that listen to it. So the people like behind the scenes are now kind of removed from what's fresh. Are you following me? Are you following me what I'm saying?
You're saying the audience has changed?
No. What I'm saying is that like this pattern happens in every kind of like art form. Like it gets to a point where it just naturally evolves. Mm-hmm. But I think it's got to a point now where we're at a point of evolution where it just happens to be parallel to the internet.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So like, if you take any genre from like 70s or 80s or 90s, there's that change. You see the change in jazz music, in soul music, in whatever. And I think hip hop is just on that same curvature. It just happens to be that at this point, internet's here as well. Right.
But don't you think that hip hop has had the biggest change out of pretty much any genre? I mean, pop music has stayed pretty constant.
I would heavily disagree with that.
Okay.
I think it's just like specifically with hip hop is because also it happens to be the most popular genre in the world.
Yeah, but it wasn't before.
No, it wasn't.
That's
what
one of the biggest changes.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest changes. But I think that's a byproduct of not just the music itself, but the way it's marketed. Like pop artists now dip their hand into the hip hop pool.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So I think it's a bit of both.
Mm. So you don't agree that hip hop has had the biggest growth out of all the genres?
No, I wouldn't. It's had a massive growth. It's had the biggest, but like every genre has its time where it's the biggest thing. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, so you think it's gonna wax and wane?
I mean that's what everything has that. Like I obviously because I love hip hop, it doesn't affect my enjoyment, but it's good to see like hip hop is doing so well. Mm-hmm. But like I can't imagine it's not going to last forever. Hip hop's not going to be the biggest thing in the world forever. Okay. Like it'll get to a point in 10 or 20 years where
you think that soon?
I mean, I don't like. It's been already about 10 years that hip hop has been like the biggest, especially in like the last 5 years.
I personally don't think it's going to be that soon.
You don't think it'll be that soon?
No.
So how long?
It's had a steady growth. It's not like it's just suddenly grown out of nowhere. It's had a steady growth.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like it's. I feel like hip hop's evolving always.
Yeah.
Like different sounds are coming in, different going down different avenues. There's lots of different types of hip hop now. I don't see that petering off anytime soon.
But in my head, like, I'm thinking, like, you can make that same argument about pop music, like, in the 90s and 2000s, like, not just popular music, but, like, pop music as a genre was the shit.
Yeah.
And there were many, many different subgenres and different avenues of pop artists taking complete different routes. Mm-hmm. But it might come back. Like, in 10, 20 years, that might, like, pop music as a genre might be the biggest thing in the world again. Mm. And it might just trade places with hip hop. It might just be back and forth like that.
So what do you think's been the biggest, like, factor of hip hop becoming so mainstream? Because, like, back a while ago, you would never hear hip hop on, like, the main radio channels and shit like that. But now it's everywhere.
I think one of the biggest contributors is that people outside of the realm of hip hop, people who aren't active listeners, no longer it's no longer seen as, like, when you hear a big hip hop song, it's no longer a novelty.
Right.
So, like, maybe in, like, the mid and late 2000s, you hear, like, the biggest hip hop songs were, like, Flow Rider. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they're essentially pop tunes.
Right, yeah.
That are marketed as hip hop, but
right.
They're not really hip hop tunes. But now it's like, if you, like, someone like Kendrick Lamar, 10, 15 years ago, I would never imagine, like, someone like that to have a number one single. Like, he's got a number one single.
Right.
Like, that's, like, if you think of the hip hop songs that hit number one back, like, 10, 15 years ago, they were essentially pop songs.
Right, I get what you mean.
With some anomalies, but that was essentially what it was.
Right, yeah.
So I think it's like that switch from being seen as, like, something just fun and novel to it's music just like everything else.
I mean, yeah, don't you think there's been one of the biggest changes is, like, the merging of, like, hip hop with other genres, so with pop and with, like, melodic hip hop is, like, much more popular.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course, because it makes someone who's not an active listener, it makes it more palatable for them. It makes there's bigger crossover appeal. So of course that's a thing, and that's probably what a lot of artists are thinking about when they start their hip hop careers. They're thinking not just about hip hop, but they're thinking, how can I branch out before they even fucking start?
Right. Yeah. So it used to be, not too long ago, it used to be that, like, songs were made for radio, right? So it had to be, like, 3 minutes or, you know, just or close enough to had to have, like, a strong, catchy chorus and, like, so I had to follow the rules in order to get radio play. Like, that was what people were going for.
Yeah.
Surely that's not the case now.
I mean,
the streaming has changed a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you swap out the word radio hit for viral hit.
Right.
That's...
So, yeah, the whole, like, concept of viral, that's something that's is pretty new.
I mean, in the sense that we use it, yeah. So, like, you had viral, like memes and tunes, like, quite early on, like, mid-late 2000s, but not in the set, like, it wasn't as instant. Like, it was, like, one viral thing in, like, a year or something.
Right,
You're like, oh, remember the evolution of Dance Guy on YouTube, and that was the meme for the year.
Right.
And now it's, like, every month there's a new thing.
Less than that.
Week. Yeah, every week there's a new thing, there's a new sound, there's a new something.
Yeah. But that does seem to be what people are going for now. They're, like, being viral is now, like, the goal.
But do you not think that's... I don't know. Do you think it's kind of pessimistic to think that way, that artists like, obviously, it's in the back of their mind?
I don't think it's pessimistic, no, because you have to have a goal, and they all want to, like, if you're starting out, you want to be successful.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think so at all.
But put it this way, because, like, maybe to get to, like, radio play, I think there's more in between steps between, like, you making a song and then it making it to, like, a big radio station. Whereas, like, you make a song and it goes viral, there could be no middleman there.
Right, I get what you mean.
So, like, the marker for...
There doesn't have to be, like, marketing going on.
Yeah, the marker for, which is... It's got pros and cons, because pros, like, it's basically like a level playing field. Like, anyone can go viral at any point.
Right, yeah.
But the con is that you have some amazing stuff that you never would have heard of, but you also have a lot of bullshit.
Right, yeah, that's true.
So there's more of the shit to wade through.
Right.
Which I'm fine with. I like, you know, I think it's worth wading through that shit to find something you wouldn't have found otherwise.
Right. I think it's very hard to predict what goes viral as well.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But I'm sure there's people at the moment like studying what's going viral, trying to create some sort of like algorithm for going viral. I'm sure people are trying to work it out.
I think there's like formulas you can follow, like Lil Nas X like perfected it, like the art of going viral. He perfected it, but there's some songs by established artists that go viral. You're like, why the fuck is this? Viral? Yeah,
it's very unpredictable.
It's just I think it's a combination between a luck of the draw and marketing.
You have to honestly The Box is not my favourite song of the album. I'm still perplexed as to why that was the one that went.
It's a banger though. It is a good song. It's a good song.
I'm still baffled. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I mean you understand. I understand. I do understand why that went viral. Because it's so quotable.
Yeah.
It's so anyone. It's one of the. It has to be instantly recognizable.
Right.
So you could hear that sound for about half a second. You're like, oh, it's Ronnie Rich the Box.
Right. Yeah.
It has to have that element to it.
So let's talk about TikTok, because I do feel I've seen it very, very recently, within the last few months, within the last year. But I do feel like people are making music for TikTok nowadays.
What, as in they're making their songs
with TikTok in mind, because it blows your shit up. The thing about TikTok is everyone uses the same sounds, which is something that I don't really like about TikTok, to be honest. Because when you're scrolling through and you hear the same song 20 times, that's boring. Use a different sound. You've got a whole library. But anyway, so obviously it's such a surefire way. If fucking Addison Rae starts using your sound on TikTok, you've done it. Yeah. You've done it. You don't have to. You can sit back and watch. Well, people. I mean,
again, that's something that has good and there's pros and cons to it. Again, because someone who never would have got that exposure could be like, oh shit, I'm just some guy making some guy or girl making tunes in their room. But the flip side can happen where remember when Tootsie Slide came out and
oh, that was made for TikTok.
That was made, but in my head, I think of Drake as someone who who he sets trends. He's a trendsetter. Sure. That's why he's so popular.
He's the original. He was doing it before TikTok was even a thing.
He's he sets he's a trendsetter. He sets all that shit
everywhere. Yeah.
But when it came to Tootsie Slide, it felt like
that fell a bit flat.
It fell flat
because the dance was so.
The reason it fell flat is one, the dance was dead.
Yeah,
I love Drake, but that dance was dead. But two, it was so painfully obvious to see that he was chasing something. Right, he was chasing that trend. Yeah. If you can see through that, you
don't want to look like you're trying too hard.
I mean, even though the single was amazingly successful, but that's because it's Drake.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
If that single had been anyone else, it would have been forgotten about completely.
Right. Yeah. So it's you can make something specifically for that, but it doesn't guarantee that it's gonna.
No.
Yeah. But then I've seen a lot of marketing and stuff like that. That a lot of music is marketed on TikTok as well.
I mean, that's just because of the sheer numbers of users.
Yeah,
it makes you go to where the people are.
But I mean, what's the longest TikTok? Is it 15 seconds?
No, it's a minute. You can make a minute TikToks.
Oh yeah, you can, can't you?
Yeah.
But I mean, most people don't do a whole minute.
No, if your TikToks are longer than a minute, then you need to stop being on TikTok.
You can't post longer.
I mean, you know what I mean. If your TikToks are a minute long, you need to get off TikTok. It's too fucking long.
But yeah, anyway, so I feel like that changes how people write the structure of their songs. People concentrate on the hook and making a really catchy hook. But
then how is it different to radio then? Because
it's not something that's just taken a little bit. I don't know, I feel like it's completely different. In radio, you're trying to create your whole song gets played.
Your whole song gets played, but
sits and listens to the whole song.
But if you think of the big rap songs that made it big on radio 10, 20 years ago, people, it's the same thing. They remember the hook and they don't remember anything else. So if you think of Miss Jackson, everyone remembers, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Woo! And then as soon as Big Boy start spitting and you're looking around at the party, I'm like, no one knows this fucking verse. Yeah. Same thing with as soon Gold Digger. And it was I kind of forgot. I think it's the same thing.
Everyone knows all the verses of Gold Digger. Come on now.
Okay, maybe not to a great extent of Miss Jackson, but I've seen that pattern where it's the same thing. It's the same, and there's nothing wrong with it.
I mean, it's not something that's come out of nowhere. It's definitely stemmed.
It's just that
it might be just heightened now.
It's just heightened. Yeah.
Because you have to, like, it's a thing, you have to grab someone's attention straight away.
I mean, that's just what being popular is it not?
No, I don't think so. When someone's scrolling through so rapidly, you've got to grab their attention, don't you? Like, straight away.
It's quite sad, though.
Do you think it's sad? Why?
I mean, not sad, but it's just like, I think it, like, obviously we have to take into context, like, how people consume music now is very different. Like,
very different, yeah.
Like, even the way albums are made, they're not made to, like, especially with hip-hop, it's my pet peeve with hip-hop, with rappers at the moment, is that, like, albums are just, like, there's, like, 25 songs, there's 20 songs, and half of them don't need to be there. It's just that they're packing, like, they're just stacking the deck.
Yeah.
They're just packing as much in on the hope that one of these tunes is going to be the box.
Yeah, for sure. But it's just a different way of making art. I
mean, it's a different way, yeah, but it's just like don't lie to me. Like, don't tell me, like, oh, this is an album. It's not an album. Like, it's not an album.
I get what you mean.
It's like me...
But it's like, it's catering for, like... It's not made for it to be on a CD and put on your Walkman and then just listen to the whole way through. It's made so that you can bring it up on Spotify, Apple Music, whatever, and you can choose what you want.
Yeah, of course. And like, streaming is basically just playlists, which I'm, like, that's what it is, but just don't lie to me. Don't tell me you're bringing out an album like, oh, this is a really... If you just tell me, look, this is some cool songs that are fucking made, and some of them are bangers.
That's what Thug did with So Much Fun.
Exactly, So Much Fun, perfect. He didn't lie to me. He didn't tell me, like, oh, this is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy 2. He was like, it's so much fun.
You didn't make that first one, you know.
What? What?
Why did you say
He didn't lie to me. He just told me, look, here's some songs. There it is.
They're fun.
They're fun. That's if that's what it is, it's so much more.
Say that.
Yeah, don't lie to me.
I get what you mean. I think you are taking that very personally.
No, it's just it itches me so much. It's like if I went to go and see a film at the cinema, and the trailer told me that it's a film, and it makes sense as a film, and then I go, and it's just it's basically a series of sketches with the same guy in it. I'll be like, that wasn't a film. That was just a collection of scenes. It doesn't work together.
You mean it needs to be, like, edited together?
It's just like...
But it's just a different way of working. Some people do that.
Yeah.
They edit the album to be one piece of work. But the majority of people don't do that. They just make some songs and they just put them up.
I have no issue with that whatsoever. Yeah. I love listening to loads of shit that's just... It's just a collection of songs, but just don't tell me that's an album.
Okay.
Don't lie to me.
All right. Okay.
That's the issue with this marketing. they want it both ways. They want the viral shit, but they're also like, this guy's an artist. Like, he's the greatest of his generation. Like, pick one.
Okay, so you think you can't be both?
You can't, like, no, you can be both.
Kendrick's being used a lot on TikTok at the moment, you know?
Yeah, but this is the thing. This is why it's, like, it's random. Like, why is Money Trees on TikTok? The song's 8 years old.
Yeah, it's literally just the bit with the woman as well.
Anna Wise.
No way.
What, like...
Anna Wise.
Yeah, like, that's the randomness of it.
Yeah, completely.
It's a song that's 8 years old. Like, why...
But you just, like...
what marketing tactic or formula can you do to predict that? Like, we're gonna make this song that's gonna blow up on TikTok in 8 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's just random.
It is very random, yeah. And it's like people discover old songs as well, and then it gets picked up.
Yeah, because there's, like, the people on TikTok now... Like, when Money Trees came out, they might have been, like, 3 years old.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, they might have been, like, 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah.
And then they opened it, like, Money Trees by Kendrick Lamar? What the fuck is that? And then they discovered
They probably
some
wouldn't
shit.
recognise the sound, though. They don't
they'd
recognise Anna Wise's bit.
Yeah, but they'd see it and then, oh, shit. Like, so, you know, it's a tool for discovering things that you never would have heard of.
Yeah, I mean, don't you think it's a good thing that people can discover all this shit?
Yeah, because I use something like...
Haven't people teenagers been using, like, MF Doom as a sound?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
It is what it is. That's like, you know, but...
Do you not think that the biggest difference I think I've seen is just how songs are structured? And, like, singles brought out... that seem to be specifically for that purpose.
Elaborate.
So, like, things like like Daisy by Ashniko.
Nah.
That is a banger, don't get me wrong.
Fucking banger.
But 100% she marketed that, or her marketing team, whatever, to go viral on TikTok. They were literally advertising on TikTok nonstop. They did like a TikTok challenge to it, like purposely they were trying to, and obviously it's got a really catchy hook section.
See, my argument against that would be they realised it was going viral. Like, I think they put the song out already.
I disagree with you. She was doing advertising on TikTok before it started being used as a sound.
No, but that's what I think they put it out and they saw a potential for it to go viral.
Yeah.
And then they lent into it. So they played it up. I don't think it was made with that intention.
Okay, so what about...
It's the same, because she's already gone viral on TikTok. It was fucking stupid a couple of years ago. So they're like, we know Ashniko could go viral on TikTok. Let's market the shit out of this song.
Right.
That's what I think.
Okay, so your argument is that songs aren't being written for that purpose, but they're being marketed for that purpose because they see the potential.
Because they see that they see what's happening on TikTok. They're like, okay, we can play up to this.
I get that.
We can make some money.
But we reacted to a song not long ago, Rico Nasty, Own It.
Own it.
100%. I'm sorry, but I listened to that song thinking this was made for TikTok.
Yeah.
It's only it's like less than 2 minutes long. It's a catchy hook and then like not much more.
Yeah.
And like a bit of a like bouncy beat. Like it was all made complete. Like that's just what I think. I don't think it's really a bad thing, but I do see that difference. That I think people are playing up to it.
I mean, I think maybe the only... I mean, this sounds like such a fucking old person thing to say. But maybe like a residual effect of that can be like especially if this is your... So just say like most of the people that use TikTok are probably like between the ages of probably like 11 and 15 or something, like somewhere in that.
Oh, do you think? No, people in their 20s.
No, but most people like... I've had one TikTok that blew up that nearly hit 1 million views and I got like 8,000 followers from it.
Yeah.
And they're all like 11-year-old Spanish children.
Why are they Spanish?
I don't know. A lot of Spanish children, a lot of Indian children.
I mean, I get that. It's definitely a young...
But yeah, so what...
But everyone's using it.
Yeah, no, but what I was going to say is that, like, their exposure to... Like, they're going to associate music with something that's quick and something that's disposable.
Yeah.
So when it comes to... And obviously through no fault of their own... Mm-hmm. That's what they're going to associate music with.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to like the concept of listening to an album is going to be like, that's fucking weird. Why am I going to sit here for an hour?
No, 100%. That might be a big change in the music industry on the whole.
But I think that's sad.
Like in 10, 20 years' time, people just don't listen to albums. It's all just songs and, things here and there. And they're popular for a week and everyone listens to them and then people move on.
Yeah, don't you think that's sad?
I mean... I wouldn't say sad.
No, but put it this way: if you put yourself in the shoes of the artist that goes viral for a bit and then fucks off, you're like, wait, I was popping for like 2 weeks and now my career's nothing.
I mean, yeah, that's the hard part is keeping it, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like Lil Nas X has done an excellent job of keeping it. Do you not think?
He
went viral, and then obviously him and his team went, right, now we have to stay on top. You have to keep on being relevant. You have to keep on bringing out
but it's
shit,
a lot of fucking... It's so much work just to stay relevant.
100%. But I think if you have like a knack and there's something about you, like Lil Nas X he's a funny fucking guy. Yeah. He's very like...
No, but the reason he's so successful is because like he's like before Old Town Road, he was a memer. Like he knew how to grab people's attention. He was basically trained in the art of grabbing people's attention.
Yeah, 100%. But like that's why he's been successful.
Yeah, that's what. So, but like if you just happen to be a normal guy,
then you probably won't stay.
And you happen to make a banger that could be a stepping stone.
Yeah,
you might not get it because there's a new fucking NLE Chopper tune.
But don't you think that's going to change as like an industry? Like even like the people who are involved in music, like the labels and the marketing people, the managers, shit like that, they will become more versed in that way of being successful. But then, and like how to make a viral hit and then how to stay relevant. But like, it's a different like business model.
But you don't think it will get to it? Like if all of these people become so aware of this, it's going to get to a point where everyone's viral.
No, but like that when it gets
it's like
too
Syndrome
saturated.
says in Incredibles. He's like, when everyone's super, no one will be.
That was an excellent.
Good reference. Good reference. I like that reference. Yeah, it's the same, like, when everyone's viral, no one will be. As soon
as it gets too saturated, the industry's going to be moved on. It'll be something different.
But so what obviously, we can't envision, like, 10, 15 years ago, no one could envision the idea of, what the fuck is a TikTok? Listen to a song. But what do you think could be the next step? Like, what's after?
What's next for the industry? Or what you mean after the whole TikTok thing, which is only just starting now?
Yeah, I mean, in America...
So what is going to get to the point where music is only made to go viral and
after
albums won't be released?
Albums don't exist.
It's just going to be sound bites.
Yeah.
What's next? I mean, alien music, isn't it?
Alien music?
Yeah, it's like 0000001.
That's human music from Rick and Morty.
Yeah, who fucking knows? How can we predict that? Are we really just predicting that TikTok's going to have such a big impact in the industry? That's a prediction in itself. It can't go.
I mean, I think you're predicting that it'll have a bigger impact than I will.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, I mean, like, think of how big also like because there's like you have the opposite effect happening as well, like where older shit is coming back around.
Older shit, like how old are you talking?
Like vinyls. Like, they're popping off.
I get what you mean.
Because all the fucking indie kids want to look cool. And they want to look different. That's a whole nother market.
Don't say that about us.
No, I mean, not about, like, obviously, we got vinyls because they look cool, innit? But, I
get what you mean, but, like, no one buys CDs anymore.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing, because you had vinyls, then CDs. So CDs are still a bit too new to be...
People get, like...
To be retro.
Like, Travis and stuff is selling, like, cassettes and merch. So I don't think people are playing those cassettes.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing. Why not in another 10 or 20 years, CDs will be the new vinyl. People will, like, be buying CDs because it's this old novelty.
I mean, you might be right.
It'll be CDs. It's like, put it this way, like, people, like, are starting to buy, like, VHS tapes and, like, watch it on their old grainy TV because it's all cool and retro. No one buys DVDs because they've got Blu-rays. People will start buying DVDs in 10 years because they're like, oh, look how cool and retro this is.
No, it's just Netflix.
No, but I'm talking about the indie kid market. Which is big even in hip-hop specifically, is massive.
What does that got to do with the industry?
Because I think, like you said, like, so many, like maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, like, I don't think the vinyl market was as big as it is now.
No, yeah, the stats, they came out with
exactly.
Stats about
So
that.
if you take that into context, those, like, when albums dropped, people weren't like, I need the vinyl, I need that vinyl straight away. They weren't marketing the vinyl because people didn't care about it. But now, because it's cool and retro,
it's not like it's a collectible. That's the thing.
It's a collectible because, like, if vinyls didn't exist and they only came out today, I don't think anyone would give a shit about vinyls.
I mean, yeah, I get that.
That's what I'm saying. So the old shit, everything comes full circle. My point is, it's not gonna. My point is, it's not like this. It's not a straight line. It's a circle. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it's a circle.
I think it's a circle.
We can't go back now. We've passed the point of no return. We can't go back.
I mean, not going back, but like certain there's always like an affection for like things that are retro. Like no matter at what point you get. So
yeah, but people aren't banging out fucking Burt Bacharach. Like...
What? Burt Bacharach?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of someone old.
Who the fuck is Burt Bacharach? Yeah, they are.
No, they're not. No one's listening to the Beatles.
Oh my god. Oh, you went to uni, right? Every fucker I saw at uni was like, oh yeah, I love the Smiths. I love
but no one actually listens to that.
They do.
They just say that.
Yeah, they do just say it. But this is the thing, like, do you think, like, I think they, like, marketers are going to start playing into that. They're going to start playing into the whole, like, retro market.
I get what you mean, but I don't think I think that's like a side thing.
Maybe.
I don't think, because that's not, then the real money's not in that.
Tell it to fucking vinyl stores, record stores. They're making that bank.
Not that much, not as much as Roddy Ricch's manager is making. Megan Thee Stallion's manager. So definitely, there was definitely a change. Obviously, people have spoken about it in depth a lot, so I'm not going to go in depth about it, but like, Kanye came through with the whole, you don't have to be gangster to make rap music, and that obviously changed a lot. That was obviously a change in hip hop that saw a different trajectory.
Yeah.
So we've definitely got like hip hop is more for everyone now, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's not just the black community that loves hip hop, like every race loves hip hop now. There's like, and because obviously there's so much now, you can find any sort of niche. You can find your niche
very easily, yeah.
Yeah, you can find Japanese hip hop, you can find freaking country hip hop, like you can find what you want. So I suppose because it's kind of, but then do you think that hip hop's been diluted in some way?
Not in the slightest.
No?
No.
Because there is so much now.
Yeah, there's so like, I don't think it's been I think the argument to say it's diluted would just mean that you have like a very, very weak like faith in the art form itself, because you think it's so fragile that it can be diluted by just other people wanting to experience it.
Right, sure.
I wouldn't subscribe to that argument.
Yeah,
I just think there's more choice.
Way more choice.
I think that same quality is there.
Yeah.
Like the argument that like this doesn't apply just to hip hop. It applies to fucking any art form. But it's like it's better. It's back in my day. Like it was all good. It was better. That's just because you have a fondness for the things that you happen to like.
Right. Yeah.
Like there was the same amount of shit. You just didn't know about it. Yeah. The idea or the argument that like, oh, it was better when I was like younger. Like everyone was popping. It was all good. You had to be talented to make it. Like that's just having a fondness for the things that you happen to fuck with, which happens like with everything. It might happen to us. It's just what happens to everyone when they get older. That you remember the shit you like. Like when we're in our 50s or 60s, we'd be like, oh. Remember,
it was so much better back.
Yeah, we're going. Oh, remember Kendrick? Remember Young Thug? Remember all of these guys? Like, but you know, we're not going to remember freaking. Oh, who should I call out?
I don't know.
Yeah, we're not going to remember Nav. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to be like, oh, do you remember Nav? He was fucking sick.
Some people will be like.
Some people remember Nav, and that's like, you know, to each his own. That's your prerogative. But like, I think you get the point.
It's just about like accepting that the industry changes. Like, no one likes the old guy who tells you to shut your music up because it was better when he was a kid.
Yeah, because he's a prick.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no one wants to be like that.
No, but like
to accept the changes and move with it.
But the funny thing is that we're all gonna be that person. Yeah, we're gonna be those people.
I really hope not.
But we will. It's just what happens. Do you think that the idea of the hip hop industry? Do you think it's changed for the better or for the worse?
I think it's definitely changed for the better.
In what way?
I think it's made for more people, made with more people in mind. Because obviously streaming means that everyone has access to everything, basically.
Yeah.
I think people are incorporating other sounds into hip-hop. I mean, hip-hop's always been a genre that looks back and takes things from the past, samples. And that's always going to be used. I think samples is such an integral part of hip hop, but that is something that has stayed. There's not many people making hip hop right now where their beat doesn't have some sort of sample or some sort of.
I mean, yeah, of course, because it's just like you don't even think twice about it. It's just that's what hip hop is.
But I think that's because that's the nature of hip hop, in that you're taking things that have come before and you're making it new, and you're putting your own spin, and I think that means
there's infinite room
that
for
it's
growth.
Always going to be forward. Yeah, I think so.
But I mean, like, if you keep doing that, you're gonna get to a point where everything has been sampled, or everything you're sampling is a sample of something.
No,
I don't agree. And
plus, you can use samples that have already been used.
Yeah,
people do that all the time.
Yeah,
I think people are only going to get more creative with what they do with samples.
I think the biggest way in which, like. I think the biggest way in which like the hip hop industry has changed is that people outside of the traditionalist like centers of hip hop, like New York, LA, Atlanta, those places, like people who were making hip hop outside of those places, like they've been doing so for so long, but now they have their own identities, their complete own separate identities. Like if we were, I don't know, if I was thinking of like hip hop from fucking, I don't know, like France. Like I can't speak French but I know that it's such a big thing. But I would imagine that for quite a long portion of its existence, they were just looking to America and you just do what they're doing because that's popping.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's what we see from the outside. So, like, if you apply it to here in England, like, we've had our own shit going for forever. Like, but from the outside looking in, that's not what we hear. Like, on the radio here, like, when I was younger, all the hip hop tunes would be like fucking Akon, Eminem, like the big artists from America.
I mean, that's just all numbers, though.
But that's all not. Yeah, but
because how many more people are there in America than the UK?
No, but
But
I'm saying if the radio here.
Yeah, no, but that's just sheer proportion.
No, it's not, because
I think it is.
No, because the charts here are what the people in the UK are listening to. It's not what everyone else in the world is listening to.
Yeah, I get that, but how many artists are from America?
Yeah.
And compare that with how many artists are from here.
Okay, that's a fair point. But like now, like if I turn on the radio, more than half the artists I'm listening to are from here. Like if I'm listening to UK radio, like you turn on the radio. Who do you?
I mean, the UK media always favours British things.
But it didn't always used to be like that. You turn on the radio and it's 50 Cent, it's Kanye, it's Eminem, it's the big rappers from America. Now you turn it on and it's Skepta. It's AJ Tracy.
To be honest, I can't participate in this conversation because I don't listen to radio. I have no idea.
Okay, but like not just necessarily radio, but just like the artists that are like making it big. Like I never would have imagined like 10 years ago that a headliner at Glastonbury would be a rapper from London.
Okay.
And Stormzy went and did it.
Okay.
I think that's a clear marker of
there are loads of rappers from London that are doing big things now.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Right, so you
think that's on that scale, that's unprecedented. So that's a massive industry change over here.
Right, okay.
Like that's like to me that's crazy.
So do you think I think that the biggest change that we see just in music in a whole is how we consume music.
Yeah.
And obviously the industry has then responded to that. Like when I think about how when my parents wanted to listen to some new music, they had to, like, first of all, they didn't even know that it was coming out. They had to, like, go down to the record store and then, like, look through the new in
There's no such thing as New Music Friday.
Yeah, literally go through and go, oh, this artist's new album. Oh, cool. Then they would have to purchase it, take it home. Like, that is mad to me. The fact that, like, they couldn't just see straight away what came out and just play it straight away. Yeah. Like, you had to invest money to listen. Yeah. But what if you spent like £20 on an album and it was shit?
That's why I'm convinced that so many people fucking lie. Upsetting. I think some people fucking lie about liking certain artists because when they were younger, they spent all their fucking pocket money to buy. They bought a Genesis album.
Okay.
I ain't got anything against Genesis, but they bought a Genesis album and they convinced themselves that it was the best album ever made because they spent all their fucking money on it. Yeah. But again, there's a pro to it because it makes you appreciate. I think it would make you appreciate it more because if you've gone like if right now I wanted
to invest more. Yeah,
if right now someone dropped that I wanted to listen to the album right now and I got on the bus and I paid more money, went to freaking HMV or something, came back and placed it on a record player and then I started listening to it.
But that's a different thing. That's a different experience.
It's a whole different experience. So I wouldn't say it makes you have a better appreciation.
No.
It's just different.
It's completely different.
Ain't it different?
But that's like the way you consume it. It's completely different. We wouldn't have been able to react to music.
We got record player.
Imagine how much money we would have to invest in order to put out reaction videos. But that's an oxymoron anyway, because YouTube wouldn't exist.
Exactly, yeah. The concept of a reaction video wouldn't even exist.
Yeah, exactly. But I do feel, because like the consumption of it is so different, that has definitely shaped the industry and how like the direction it's gone. Yeah. But then to be honest, I can't envision how that's going to change. Like in 20 years' time, are we still going to be consuming music the same way?
What, in terms of like streaming? I mean, I can't. It's such an efficient way of doing it.
Yeah, like how can there be a better way?
I mean, people thought Walkmans were efficient.
Yeah, exactly. Like we haven't conceived of this yet.
So this streaming shit on Spotify might be considered
old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned in 20 years.
Yeah, which is mad. But that's the way of the world. That's the way it goes.
But I kind of think like this might be a bit of a tangent, but you know how like obviously because like it was harder to get exposure like back in the day because there's no internet.
Yeah.
But like the artists that did make it big, I feel like when I go back and look at their discography, I'm like, your discography is so fucking mad. They were basically like doing this, like they were putting out an album every year or 2 every year.
Yeah.
Like if you go and look at how big freaking Prince's discography is or David Bowie's discography, they've got like 30 or 40 albums each.
Yeah, for sure.
There's so much music. So do you not think that they were kind of doing a similar thing? They're just putting out so much shit in the hope that
maybe like they're holding people's attention.
Yeah, they have to keep their attention for as long as possible.
I mean, yeah, it's very possible.
Like, I can't think of an artist from, I don't know, maybe because obviously I wasn't around, but I can't think of an artist of like from the 70s or 80s who had so much confidence in their fan base that they could do a Kendrick or a Frank and be like, I'm not dropping anything for like 4 years. And I know my fans are going to come back and listen to this shit. Oh, I get what you mean, yeah. Like, maybe I'm just ignorant of it, but I can't think of someone that high profile who did that back in the day.
No, because like the internet, I suppose, perpetuates it. Like while Frank's not dropping music, we're still talking about him. We're still like waiting for the music, but he's still in the news every now and again.
But wouldn't that happen?
He still like drops some clothes and like there's still shit going on, so he's still in our minds.
But wouldn't you think?
Whereas if there was no internet, we would like forget he existed.
Nah, but like, wouldn't you think? Like, just say it's the late 60s and the Beatles just dropped Sgt. Pepper. I know it was like one of their later albums, one of their last albums, but they just dropped Sgt. Pepper, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is the fucking like best album ever made." And then they didn't drop. You didn't hear from them again for like 4 years. Don't you think everyone would be like, "We need it. We fucking need it."
Yeah, but that's what we're like with Frank.
Exactly.
So basically, we can't make predictions really on where it's the hip hop. Do you kind of think it's going to drop off a little bit?
I mean, I don't want it to.
No.
But I'm just thinking in terms of like the patterns of everything that has come before, everything has its peaks and troughs.
Yeah. I mean, don't we think that radio will be gone completely at some point? I mean, I feel like society is becoming more and more individualistic, so everyone's just going to have their own music that they listen to. There's not going to be the kind of...
I mean, obviously there'll still be charts. I don't know about radio, but...
Will there still be charts?
I mean, yeah, because people will track who's the most popular this week. That's just, I don't think that's going to go away.
But when we have the chips inside our brains that just play music, I mean, it just plays music. Whatever we think about, it plays the music.
Yeah, so who's
and then plays us adverts.
Not if you get Brain Premium.
Okay, those were our thoughts. Let us know your thoughts in the comments.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and dong the bell.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.